Today we're going to learn about patterns. Hi boys and girls, Mrs. Thompson here. It's time for math. I teach at Old Point Elementary School. Some of you may know me. I'm going to teach you all about patterns today and how patterns are everywhere. Before we start, we are going to look at something that you might not have thought about before. This says patterns all around us. Look at these things for a minute. Just look. What do we see here? We see a carpet maybe, or no, I think this is a carpet or a table. And this isn't a carpet. I think this is a blanket. Could be a carpet. We have a zebra. We have a snake. We have a little boy. We have a game of checkers. Look at those things. Do any of those have patterns on them? If you see something with a pattern, go ahead and point to it. Oh yeah, I know a lot of you are pointing at the zebra. Zebras do have patterns. Look at that zebra. What's the pattern? Yes, we have black, white, black, white, black, white. A zebra's stripes are a pattern. So that's one place that patterns are all around us. Look at this quilt. It has some patterns. It has some different color patterns, doesn't it? And shapes. Some of these patterns up here have different shapes going in different colors all the way across. When people make quilts, they use patterns. Look at this snake. Snakes have patterns. That's another animal with a pattern. I'm seeing something that's pretty neat, that it's not just zebras, lots of animals. Look at the pattern on this snake. He's got black, orange, black, red. Black, orange, black, red. How cool is that? Look at the little boy's shirt. Oh, I know so many of you come to school with patterns. We've talked about it, haven't we? Oh, we've seen patterns on clothes. He's got stripes that are a pattern, doesn't he? We have some shape patterns, and a checkerboard has patterns. Yeah, there's a couple different patterns. Look, so we have a red square, black square, red square, black square, but you know what else I see? We have no chip. This one has a chip on it. No chip, but then you put a chip. Did you know when you set up the checkerboard, you actually set it up in a pattern? Boys and girls, patterns really are all around us. So now that you've thought about that in your brain, I'm going to read you a book that shows even more places patterns are. And then when you're outside or you're looking around the grocery store or your house, your brain is gonna start seeing patterns everywhere. You're gonna be amazed at how many you see. Are you ready? My book, what does it have on the front? A zebra. Isn't that perfect for a book about patterns? I think so. This one's called Lots and Lots of Zebra Stripes, Patterns in Nature. What's nature? What does that mean? Yeah, that means outside or like in the woods, right? So this is going to be all about patterns in nature. Now this is a pretty big book, so it must be more than just zebras. I'm excited to see what patterns are out there. Here we go. Patterns are lines and shapes that repeat. What is that? Caterpillar. Just like the snake that was over here, it has a pattern. We have some rocks that have patterns. These little spiky things have patterns. Some patterns are simple and some are not. You can find patterns in spring, summer, fall, and winter. Look at this, since we're in summer, look at this summer block. Do you know what those are? Those are watermelons, and watermelons have patterns. Look, you have dark green, light green, dark green, light green. Have you ever noticed that when you've seen a watermelon? Now, every time you see it, I hope you see the pattern. Patterns can be circles or spots. Patterns can be stripes or lines. We already talked about those zebra patterns. Patterns can be spirals, like the spider web. Patterns can be found on the fur of animals. What kind of animal is that? You can't see its head, but can you tell what that is? That is a giraffe. And they have patterns on their skin or on their fur. Or the feathers of a bird. Patterns can be found on the scales of a snake. All right, let's look at this bird since we already talked about a snake. Look at this owl. Do you see how it has like dark, white, dark, white, dark, white? You know what that makes me think of? Miss Thompson has chickens at home. Did you know that? I do. And I'm wondering if they have any patterns. When I go home, I'm gonna look. I'm gonna look at nature at my house. I'm gonna see if my chickens have any patterns like that owl. Cannot wait to go find out. Or on the shell of a turtle, some patterns show growth. With this pattern on this sunflower, all the seeds show how it grows. Some patterns show age. This is a tree that's been cut up. This is a log. There's patterns in the tree. Some patterns are straight lines. Look at that. So you have a tree, and you can just see the leaves. You have a tree, and then you can see the leaves. And you have a tree. Can you believe that? That's a pattern right there in the forest. Some patterns are curved lines. That is a double rainbow. It's hard to see, but there's another rainbow and a rainbow here. And rainbows are always the same colors. So when you have another one, it's a pattern. It just repeats. Some patterns last only a short time. Do you know what those are? Those are clouds up in the sky. And some patterns last forever. Those are rocks, like up in the mountains. Those are going to stay there for a long time. But those have patterns in them. You can find patterns in a park. It kind of looks like Charlotte a little bit. But look at these flowers. Look right here. I just barely looked at it and I already see a pattern. We have a yellow flower, pink flower, yellow flower, pink flower, yellow flower. I wonder if the gardeners did that on purpose. Isn't that cool? You might see patterns on a pond or at the beach. Look at the sand pattern. So cool. Or on the forest floor. Finding a pattern is fun. Look for patterns where you live. Can you find patterns in your lunch snack? Look at all these fruits that might have patterns on them. Can you find patterns on shells? Can you find patterns in vegetables? Oh, that's cool. Can you find patterns in insects? Can you find patterns on trees? Boys and girls, I bet you're going to be looking all over the place now. Your brain's probably already thinking about where there could be patterns. Can you find patterns on flowers? Patterns make our world a beautiful place. Think about it. Think if there was no patterns and everything was just one color. Like everything was just only blue or only red, everything. Would that look as neat as if we had all these patterns? I don't think it would. And that's the end. So just remember that you can find patterns everywhere. Now we're going to play a game in a minute, but before we play that game and you help me figure out patterns, I want to show you two examples to get your brain thinking before we play our game. Watch this. I have two cube trains. I'm going to actually flip to my cube train page. Here's some patterns here, and I have made two myself. I have one right here. See that cube train? And then I have this one. All right, we're going to go over these. One of these is a pattern and one is not. Remember, patterns have to repeat. So I'm going to say these. We're going to figure out which one's a pattern. Ready? So let's look at this one first. Let's say this pattern or these colors together. Green, yellow. Green, yellow, green. There's one. Okay, now let's say this one. See if this is a pattern. Let's say it together. Yellow, red, yellow, green. yellow, yellow. Okay, which one of those is the pattern that repeats? This one or this one? Which one? Yes, if you said this one, you are right. Kiss your brain. This one repeats. This is a pattern. Watch. You have green, yellow, green, yellow, green. If we wanted to keep going, we would say yellow, green, and we could keep going. This one, just a bunch of colors put together. It's cool and you can build stuff, but it's not a pattern. It doesn't repeat. So when we play our game in a minute, remember that so you can help me figure out what comes next. Let's get ready to play our game. Okay, I'm ready for our game. Hope your brain's ready for patterns. We have 4 patterns you have to help me with. Here we go. Let's look at the first one. Oh, look, that looks familiar, doesn't it? I bet you already know what comes next, but we'll practice with this one first. Here we go. Say it with me. Green, yellow, green, yellow, green. What would come next? Yes, yellow. Very good. If we put a yellow one on there, we have kept the pattern going, haven't we? What would come next after that yellow? Green. Very good. And you just made a pattern. Let's do another one. They're going to get trickier as we go. This is warming your brain up. Here we go. Let's look at the next one. All right, ready? Here's our next one. Say it with me. Yellow, red, green. Yellow, red, green. What would come next for it to repeat? What comes next right here? Yes, did you say yellow? We would need yellow. What's the next part of the pattern? Red, very good. And there's one more part of this pattern, watch. Yellow, red, green. Yellow, red, green. Yellow, red, what is it? Green, awesome. We would have to put a green one on, and you just made the pattern bigger. So remember, patterns aren't just gonna be one color and then another color, one color and another color. This one had 3 colors. Good job. Ready for the next one? All right, here's our next one. Go ahead and take a look at that one. All right, you ready to say it with me? Here we go. Blue, blue, red. Blue, blue, red. What's the next part that repeats? Did you say blue? You're right. Blue, then what? Yep, blue. And tell me the last part. You got it, red. Let's see if we were right. Let's see if that repeats. Blue, blue, red. Blue, blue, red. Blue, blue, red. You got it. All right, we have one more that you're gonna help me with. All right. This one reminds me of something we just looked at. What does it make you think of? Yes. Zebras. I thought so too, because what color is it? White and black. All right, here we go. Ready? White, white, black, black. White, white. What next? Oh, I heard somebody say it. Watch. You can actually put 2 on together to make your pattern if you know it's going to be connected. So we know we need 2 blacks, don't we? Watch. White, white, black, black. White, white, black, black. Then what? Not just 1 white. Yes, 2 whites. So this pattern has 2 colors, but there's 2 of them at a time. So let's say this one together again. White, white, black, black. White, white, black, black. White, white. And it could keep going, couldn't it? That's how you know it's a pattern. It has to keep repeating. That's why that other one we had wasn't a pattern. It didn't repeat. Okay, all of these on my chart repeat. All of the ones in the book repeat. Now your job, my little mathematicians, is to go out into the world and find patterns everywhere. outside, in your house, in your room, maybe in the carpet at your house, maybe on your couch, maybe at the grocery store. Even when you're driving in the car down the road, you might see patterns out the window. So your brain now is ready to find patterns everywhere, okay? So you can do this anywhere you go. And I'm so proud of you. You're gonna be finding them all over the place, all right? Bye, everybody.